I mean, no successful person is just sitting on the couch thinking and wondering about what to do. No, they are taking action on a daily basis. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of It Takes Grit with your host, Rebecca Louise. I know you're probably getting a little bit fed up of just me being your host. However, get ready because we have got some epic interviews coming up, all things Everest. I'm going to introduce you to my guide, my videographer, a couple of other people who've been part of the Everest world and training as well. So I'm so excited, so just buckle up, because in a couple of weeks' time, we have got some brand new interviews all about Everest. And today, I'm going to be chatting to you a little bit about what successful people do, right? The traits of successful people and 5 things that I feel that successful people that I've studied do every single day. Quick little recap, I'm actually going to be jumping on the scales this week to see how my body is adapting to me just kind of eating whatever I want. I have to say that I've probably given it about a 50% shot in the last 2 weeks. I've eaten whatever's been in front of me, but have I pushed myself to really eat more food? Probably not. So I'm gonna look at those results, and it's probably gonna give me a little bit of a kick up the bum to say, Rebecca, that's great that you're eating cheese and you're eating all these other things and you're adding more things into your shake and you're not looking at what you're eating. However, even if you're trying to gain weight, it's gonna be important to what you're actually putting inside of your body, making sure that you're getting those results. I seem to have done something to my wrist. I don't know if it was from golf or if I slept on it funny, but I'm supposed to be filming workouts tomorrow and I've rescheduled it for the next day. So hopefully my wrists are kind of fitting better then, or I just won't be doing any planks. All right, so 5 things that successful people do, I think, every single day. The first thing is they find the solution rather than looking at the problem. You know, as a business owner, I've got multiple different things going on. I'm always putting out fires. That's one of the things I'm doing. I'm like, okay, the app is broken. And instead of being like, oh my goodness, this app is broken, people can't log in, I'm straight on the phone. Great. Who's my developer? How do I get on a call with them? How can we fix this? The same thing with merchandise. The same thing, you know, if it's on a team call with my, my nutrition team, like whatever it is, we want to look at how we can fix something really fast rather than dwell on the problem. And maybe you don't even have a business right now. Maybe this is something in life that you're like, oh my goodness, there's a problem in my relationship, there's a problem at work, there's a problem with my friend, and we're so focused on the problem rather than spending that energy and time on looking for the solution. So that would be my first thing that I really feel successful people do every day. They are focused on the solution. They don't dwell on what's not working. They don't dwell on what is, the bad things that are happening in life. They don't dwell on like what's happened to them. Everything happens for us, right? But they don't dwell on those things. Successful people will just show up and say, you know what? That's no problem. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to have great energy and I'm going to have a great attitude. That's really, I find, the traits of somebody that is super successful. And you just wouldn't see Sarah Blakely getting on Instagram and complaining about her friends. You wouldn't get, Sarah Blakely getting on Instagram and complaining that, something didn't happen. She might tell the story later on of, oh my goodness, was one time, we were getting some new products in and there was a shipment delayed and this has happened. And that's the fun story, right? When you kind of can go back and look at it. But right in the middle, it's like, oh my goodness, this is happening to me right now. And we want to share the whole world. Why? Because it gives us attention. But remember, you don't need attention from some of your problems. Just get the attention from succeeding in life and being successful. So that's number 1, is always look to how you can find the solution rather than dwelling on the problem. All right, next up, seek advice. Number 2, I always find successful people, they're seeking advice from people who are more successful than them, mentors, and then people that you are hanging around. If you are hanging around with people that are not that motivated, that are not successful, that have no ambition to be successful. Like, we all start off somewhere, right? So if you're with a bunch of girls and you're all trying to like go for it and you're getting stuff done, amazing, right? That's you're being around people successful at your level who are going for it. However, if you are trying to create something new and you're trying to have a successful relationship, and you're around other people that don't have a successful relationship, and then all you do is you get together and you can complain about your partners, nothing is going to change there. right? So the people that you are hanging around with is what it's going to be like for you in the future. And it's also what it's going to be like for you on a day-to-day. So for example, if I have, any problems that go on in my business, I would always reach out to my mentor. I would say, hey, this is happening. What would you do? And she would say, I would do X, Y, and Z, and I would just follow it. Like I'd literally listen to my mentors like I was a puppet on a string. I go to them, I ask them what to do, and they say, do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, great. And I'll do it even now. Like sometimes, there'll be a situation that comes to me and I'm like, oh my goodness, like why didn't I go to my mentor first of all rather than just executing it? Has anyone ever done something that like that was a mistake? Oops, like we're all human, right? We all make mistakes, but as long as you own them, I always say take 100% responsibility with zero excuses. Yeah, that was me. I did it. I apologize. I'm sorry. But you know what? We're all human. We make mistakes and I did what I felt was right in that moment. And as long as we learn from it, right? As long as we learn from it, we realize how we behave in some situations. And we go, I didn't really consult my mentor on that thing. Or I didn't really reach out and ask if this was a good idea. And that's your own, that's your own fault for not doing that. So when you have an issue, the successful people reach out to their sponsors, they reach out to their mentors, they reach out to people that are more successful than them, and they just ask them, hey, what would you do in this situation? And then guess what? You have to follow it. All right, so tip number 3, we're talking about taking action. I mean, no successful person is just sitting on the couch thinking and wondering about what to do. No, they are taking action on a daily basis. They are saying, okay, what's the next thing that I get to do to move the needle? What's the next thing that I get to achieve or I get to figure out so that I can get to where my goal is? So often people give up on things way too fast. They announce something and then they give up. They announce something and then they give up. They start a new job and then they give up with it. They go from job to job to job because they haven't stuck it out. It's about taking action and then being consistent with that action, right? So whatever it is that you are trying to achieve or create right now, it's going to take at least 90 days of doing it day in, day out to be able to build that momentum, all right? So you've got to think of the action, what is making things move the needle, and what are you doing to stay consistent? I mean, consistency is absolutely key. I've been posting every single day on TikTok. I've probably been on TikTok for the last couple of years. I've been really posting and increasing what I'm talking about on there about Everest. And, just in the last few days, I've grown 15,000 followers, right? It's incredible. But that's because I was super consistent. I'm showing up, I'm doing the work, and that's how people become successful every single day is by doing a little bit. And it's not to say that you have to work 16, 17 hours. And maybe there's going to be periods where you've got to launch or there's something happening or there's a big momentum part. You want to keep your foot down. That's going to be important. And what's really important too is you take those moments of rest, those days where you're maybe only just doing an hour to check in. But remember, most days are not just going to be an hour to check in if you want to be successful. All right. So you got to make sure that you are showing up every single day, that you are taking action, you're making the moves, and you're staying consistent with it. That's what I've really seen with really successful people. All right. Number 4, personal development, right? Always wanting to learn and grow. I saw Luke posted a video the other day saying, the biggest mistake that I find in business is that people think that they know it all too quick. If you never think that you know it all, your business will grow so much better. I am constantly learning things all the time. Every single day, I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be a great idea. Why am I not doing these on my reels? Why am I not putting this in the PDF? Why are we not doing this in the challenges? It's okay, I'm constantly wanting to see how we can make things better. And that comes from an obsession with wanting to make something better. It's not about completely changing everything, but it's an obsession, like my app. It's an obsession, how can I get it better? And I'm so excited that we have this new app coming out at the beginning of April, but it's an obsession of how can I create more value? How can I make it a better experience for people? How can I, allow people to just do whatever they need to do on the app to get the best results? What's the colors look like? How can I make it brighter? How can I give it a fresher look? It's constantly working on myself to show up as a level 10 energy, and then constantly having that obsession of my business. I think that's another thing, I'll talk about this on step number 5. I'm kind of jumping ahead there, but I got excited about the obsession part. But personal development, let's just bring it back, is, that growth on yourself. Your paycheck will be a direct reflection of your growth, all right? And the same as your growth will be a direct reflection of your paycheck. The more people that you help, the more that your money will increase, and it's a direct reflection of your impact, right? Your money is a direct reflection of your impact. So if you are showing up at a level 10, you're going to have more impact than someone who's showing up as a 5, and therefore you're going to create more income. And so that's what's so exciting about personal development, is that you are in control. Like, you are in the driver's seat. You're the one that gets to say, like, hey, this is how it's going to go, because you have chosen to do that personal development. So important. Step number 4 is personal development. Now, that could be listening to podcasts, could be reading a book, could be listening to YouTube, 20 minutes a day, just to get what's in your mind, to give you confidence and certainty and energy, as Luke always says, is really going to help you get to where you want to be in life. So make sure that you're adding in that personal development. And number 5, you got to spread the message about what you do, right? So many people, they're like, oh, I love this product and I love my business, but I've never told anybody about it. It's like, how do you expect to be successful in your business if you do not tell anybody? Now, that's the grit, right? This podcast is all about the grit that it needs. And these 5 things take a little bit of grit. And if we just apply ourselves and we follow the steps from what we get taught, we're going to have the results. If you want to be more successful, I'm telling you, 1 to 5 right here is going to help you get to where you want to be. And if you're not sharing the message about what you do, what you offer, what your product is, you're not telling anybody about it, how can you expect to be successful? How can you expect for your business to grow? How can you expect to help more people if nobody knows? Right now I'm in the middle of 10 DMs on my Instagram, Rebecca Louise Nutrition, voice noting people saying, hey, I've got this amazing opportunity. This is what I do. If you want me to help you, I can help you too. But I'm just sharing you with my story. This is what happened to me 8.5 years ago, 2013. This is where I am today. If you want to do the same, hit me up. That's all I'm doing, is I'm sharing my story. I'm not doing the facts and all this other random little bits and pieces. I'm sharing my story. This is what happened to me. If you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. But I'm actively going out there and reaching out to people to share it, because I believe in what we do. It's the same with my app. I'm constantly, twice a week, putting a YouTube video out. Twice a week to tell people about my app, to tell people about my new merchandise, to tell people about the workouts, and to get people to move their bodies, right? So I'm always sharing the message of what I'm doing to tell people that there is a great app out there. I believe in my app so much. I love it. I think it's great. I love the workouts. They're motivating. I've got 2 incredible trainers on there. So the goal is if you believe in something so much, you got to get out there and share it. You got to tell the world that what you do makes a difference. Because when you believe so much in the thing that you are creating, then you're going to be able to create more success stories and then more success for yourself. So there are my 5 quick top tips right there about how to be successful every single day. Now, let's just get started with 1. Pick 1 today that you can implement. 1 today you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to keep adding this into my daily schedule every single day, because when you do and you take action and you figure out some of these things, it's going to completely drastically change your life. So I hope that these 5 tips help. Becoming successful is not easy. It has ups, it has downs. There is, the really high points, and then there's the low points where you want to quit. The other thing is, successful people do not quit. You can't fail, my friends, unless you quit. You just can't fail. It's just not possible. You just keep on going. It doesn't matter if it takes you, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I realized the other day I've been on YouTube for 9 years and my ankle weights only just came out. And it's no problem. Everything is timing. So I just want you to know that, first of all, you need to give yourself a pat on the shoulder for showing up, because you do want to be successful. There's something inside of you that's telling you, hey, there's something that I want more of in life. And now all you get to do is apply it. So often we talk ourselves out of things. I was talking to one of my girls from Italy this morning. We were going through some of her nutrition products, and she was like, oh, I want to do this, but I get into my head. When we're in our head, we're dead. When we're in our heart, that's where we make those decisions. So make sure that you implement at least one of these things today. You get out of your head and you just start doing the do. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. This podcast is where it is because of you. And if there's somebody in your life, your family, your friends that you love dearly, that you're like, hey, They need to hear this because they've got so much potential. Their trajectory is awesome. If they just applied a few of these things, then you would be changing their life and trajectory as well today. So hit that share button, give it as a gift to one of your friends and family, put it on your social media. You do not know whose life you're going to change today just by sharing this message. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to the It Takes Grit podcast, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.